Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Question 1, answer. Honourable Speaker, in accordance with the Resolution 57/1, the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights issued the report on the situation of human rights in Sri Lanka, A/HR/60/21, Annexure A. The Government of Sri Lanka submitted observations on the advanced draft copy of the High Commissioner's report on 6 August 2025, having followed the interagency consultations, Annexure B. These observations were provided at the request of the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, OHCHR, to demonstrate cooperation and engagement and to ensure that the views of the Government of Sri Lanka were recorded despite the rejection of Human Rights Council Resolution 57/1. This response was subsequently published on the Office of the OHCHR website. During the interactive dialogue on Sri Lanka at the 60th session of the Human Rights Council, the Honourable Minister of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Employment and Tourism, addressing the Council, stated the GOSL position regarding the report and outlined the progress achieved and the way forward. Annexure C. Question 2.
Order, please. Deputy Speaker will come to the chair.
Honourable Prime Minister, you may please continue.
Thank you. Question 2, answer. Honourable Deputy Speaker, during the interactive dialogue on Sri Lanka at the 60th session of the Human Rights Council, the Government of Sri Lanka acknowledged that the High Commissioner's report contains both recognition of positive developments in the country as well as certain problematic concerns. Annexure C. The Government of Sri Lanka focused on the opportunity identified by the High Commissioner to implement transformative reforms with reference to Sri Lanka. Following his visit to Sri Lanka in June this year, the High Commissioner highlighted the potential for real change representing all segments of Sri Lankan society and the genuine openness shown by the government. Therefore, the government urged the OHCHR and the Human Rights Council to seize this opportunity and provide the necessary space to advance the rights and well-being of all Sri Lankans through its own national processes. In this regard, Sri Lanka observed that external initiatives will only serve as an impediment to ongoing national efforts and polarize communities unnecessarily. Therefore, the Government of Sri Lanka has informed the OHCHR that the government does not agree with the conclusions and recommendations in the report with reference to international action. Question 3. Answer. Honourable Deputy Speaker, as mentioned above, the Government of Sri Lanka does not agree with the conclusions and recommendations in the report in relation to international intervention. The government sincerely believes that external actions will only exacerbate divisions and therefore thereby jeopardize national processes already underway and efforts to implement genuine and clear initiatives in regard to addressing these issues as well as demonstrate progress. For this reason, the government opposes any form of external mechanisms. The government is committed to advancing accountability through credible domestic processes. To this end, the government has taken steps to strengthen domestic institutions and mechanisms, ensuring that their independence by enhancing financial, human resources, and technical capabilities. A decision was taken to establish an independent public prosecutor's office to further strengthen the delivery of justice. A committee appointed by the Cabinet of Ministers in May 24 is already discussing the establishment of this office. The Cabinet of Ministers decided on 4th August 2025 to expand the composition of the committee and to obtain the assistance of an increased number of experts, as well as by consulting the views of the general public and the Human Rights Commission of Sri Lanka. A process has been initiated for the establishment of a Truth and Reconciliation Commission, and this will be established following consideration of the draft law that has already been proposed and after consultations with stakeholders. However, the government will continue to work in close cooperation with the international community especially for capacity building and to obtain technical assistance on mutually agreed areas. Thank you.
Honorable Rasamanikam, yes.
I think I am allowed to make a couple of clarifications on this matter because this is in response to a question that I raised under the Prime Minister's questions. So if you'd allow me, thank you, Honorable Prime Minister, for your response on this matter. However, Honorable Prime Minister, I would like to bring to your attention that almost 20% of your period of power that the public have given you is already over. 1 year is already gone. So after a year, we are speaking about your informing this House that the government is looking at a domestic mechanism, that you all are opposed to any international intervention only because you are saying that it will polarize communities and that it will create further issues within the country. Now, I disagree on that. To ensure that there is real reconciliation, the victim community must have a process that they believe in and they trust in for you to bring them on board. Now, you have refused that, you have rejected that, which means as a representative of the victim community, I express my disappointment because as a member of parliament representing the victim community, we were hopeful that this government at least will listen to the victim community and agree to a international mechanism. But anyway, I've made my point clear that we reject your proposal as a representative of the victim community and we want an international investigation because we have no faith in the government of Sri Lanka's mechanisms, and that has been the position for 16 years since the end of the war. But since you mentioned about the domestic mechanisms, Honorable Prime Minister, how can you even say that the domestic mechanism will work when the Office of Missing Persons, the Honorable Minister of Justice is here, the Office of Missing Persons, the cadre that they require to function is 250 plus. But in a year since you've been in office, the cadre is still only at 29. Now the ONUR, Minister, let me finish. Okay. Right, okay.
Honorable member, can you please come to your clarification only?
Okay. No, the Minister spoke to me, so I can't, respectable Honorable Minister is saying something, I have to speak to him. Honorable Minister, I am not lying. I think you better spend some time in your ministry learning these numbers and figures without sitting here and, body shaming Honorable Chamara Sampath. Honorable Prime Minister, you need to look into that. Your Justice Minister body shamed Honorable Chamara Sampath. You spoke about people body shaming in the opposition. Your own Justice Minister yesterday body shamed Honorable Chamara Sampath. It's unacceptable. Yes, Deputy Speaker. Now the ONUR, out of 59, there are only 13 staff members. Now, Honorable Prime Minister, the government is saying domestic mechanism. But within the domestic mechanism, you can speak to the OMPJ. I am not speaking out, putting numbers out of thin air, right? So even the 129 million that was allocated, as of 30th of June, only 36 million rupees was spent. So anyway, how would you address this, Honorable Minister? Now, we don't agree, but how are you, the TRC, all these things, a year later, are we going to go forward indefinitely for a justice matter that that is long overdue?
Honorable Prime Minister.
Honorable Deputy Speaker, as noted by the Honorable Member himself, we have only completed 20% of our time period. That means we have 80% time left to address all of these issues. So, so there is no problem with our position or with our strategies. We firmly believe that building trust among the victim community is a priority for us, and we understand the concerns, and the Honourable Member has the right to continue to raise these issues and to engage with us, which we welcome. But I think we have demonstrated over the past year our willingness to listen, our willingness to compromise on certain issues, and our willingness to also change tactics when and where necessary, and we will continue to do so. We will also continue to do so with the larger members of the community, of the victim community, who have also voted for us and are part of our constituency as well. But as citizens of this country, we take cognizance of all of their concerns. We understand why there has been an erosion of trust. We acknowledge that, but as a new government, we are committed to rebuilding that trust. We recognize that there are problems within local initiatives, but those are also being addressed. I request the Minister of Justice to respond to the issues pertaining to the institutions under his ministry, because those issues have also been addressed. Thank you.
Honorable Minister of Justice, yes, you were named. Are you willing to take it, Honorable Minister?
I will. Right. Let me answer what is transpired so far. Thereafter, you can ask.
Okay, Honorable Minister, please.
Right. Right. Okay.
Okay, make it short, Honorable Rasamanikam.
Honorable Prime Minister, we appreciate your response. We thank you. We appreciate the work that this government is doing. We support you. We want to work with you. We want to help you. But we are worried that 20% of the time already lapsing, another 20% goes, another 20% goes, then the government staff will also start working accordingly. So we respect you. We have a lot of respect for you. For this government, we want to work with you, but we are trying to tell you what our requirement is, right? Now, with the Office of Reparations also, Honorable Prime Minister, we have concerns, even though as a representative of the victim community, the Tamil mothers have mostly rejected the Office of Reparations and said
Honorable
that they don't want...
Rasamanikam, you wanted to pose a question to our Honorable Minister of Justice.
My question is to the Honorable Prime Minister. If she wants to delegate it to the Minister in charge, that's up to her. I didn't come to question the Honorable Justice Minister today. So, Honorable Prime Minister, the Office of Reparations also, in 2019, there was an agreement to pay the victims 200,000 rupees as a temporary allowance. Only 60 million or something was paid at the time, 153 families. In 2022, when Ali Sabri was minister, he offered 100,000. The victim community rejected that. Then they increased it to 200,000. That also was rejected. In the year of 2024, Honorable Deputy Speaker, a budget of 1,000 million was allocated for reparations and 800 million of that was spent. Right? Now, again, let me emphasize this. The Tamil mothers have rejected this. I'm not saying this is their request, but still, since you are offering this as a domestic solution, which is my concern. Now, in the budget for 2025, 1,000 million was allocated. But as far as I am aware, not a single cent of that has been paid this year. Now, this is the information that I have. I am not the government, right? So, most of these mothers, Honorable Deputy Speaker, are mothers from before 2000. Right? Around 7,000 or 8,000 of them are from before 2000. Out of the 16,000 that have been registered. So some of them are members of the JVP. Now, Ranil Wickramasinghe has paid 800 million.
Honorable right? Rasamanikam,
right? I'm winding up, sir. I'm winding up.
Please?
Now, my question, Honorable Prime Minister, is on this background, you are a member of the Constitutional Council as well, right? The Office of Reparations, 2 members were recently recommended by the Constitutional Council to the Office of Reparations. Now, out of the 5, if these 2 recommended persons are appointed, 1 person already there, Palitha Fernando, is from a military background, right? And the 2 persons that you have recommended, the Constitutional Council, Joseph Terence Jnanam Samsundaram, right? He's a retired military officer. Then there's Vasanta Pereira, female, was attached to the Ministry of Defense. Now, both these people have had some military background and are opposed to, Tamil people are opposed to them. Now, 3 people out of 5, the Tamil people are opposed to. The victim committee is opposed. How would you justify the Office of Reparations working in this context? Along with that, Honorable Deputy Speaker, we have other concerns about, even day-to-day activities like the Batiklo Medical Campus signboard being put up in Sinhala and not in Tamil. These are day-to-day issues. I will convey that to the Prime Minister in writing. So my primary concerns, Honorable Minister, my intention is not to push you against the wall and say that you haven't done things. My only intention is to work with you to resolve the issues of the victim community.
Honorable Minister, Honorable Harsha Nanekar.
Yes.
Are you?
Thank you, Honorable MP, Mr. Rasamanikam. While I did not prepare for an answer, because obviously you are not referring it to me, but I think, fortunately, I do have some information. I might be able to clarify the situation with. First of all, about recruitment. You are right. When we came into power in 2024, those cadre vacancies existed. Now, as you are aware, while I do not want to blame the old politics, when after Gotabaya Rajapaksa won in 2019, he famously said, I won with the votes in the South. So thereafter, the racial politics that continued seeped into the institutions and the establishments too. So even the people who were appointed were just there to collect salaries and not to perform their functions as such. So when we came into power, some of them were still there, and then we worked, and we saw all the weaknesses. Now, although you said 29, true, because we are recruiting 90 more. Because with the financial restraints, 90 has been approved for missing persons, and now they are being recruited. Process is on the way. And also, I'm not denying there are other reforms that has to be done with Office of Missing Persons, which will be done. None of them have been done from 2019, but we have started in 2024 November, and we are attending to it. About the Office of Reparations, what you raised, Honourable MP, this, I'm so glad that you raised it, because there appears to be a team, despite the truthful side, they are spreading misinformation. For this particular group, I have given 3 meetings and explained. First and foremost, Office of Reparation can only pay up when it has been assessed as missing persons, right? Out of the 16,000 odd, only 4,000 odd has been paid compensation. But remember, missing persons payments have been made in the 1990s, early 2000s, like that right throughout, when the Office of Missing Persons was not functioning. So according to law, only one-off payment can be made as a recognition of the missing person. So somewhere in 1990, it could have been 25,000. Somewhere in 2000, it could have been some 100,000, 150,000, so on and so forth. Now this team who comes to me requests that all of them be paid 200,000. Now in law, there's no provision to pay whatever was short. There was no provision. But I did speak to them and told them, that particular team who came to see me, that I will put to the cabinet and get a policy approval for the balance. However, there's a difficulty in ascertaining from 1990s these payments were made from various places. There's no proper record. So the government will never know how much each person has got for themselves. As a result of which, I cannot propose a cabinet paper in any scientific manner. Otherwise, the money of the public will be wasted. So as a result of which, we are in the process of collecting that data. On top of that, we don't believe just a one-off payment and then wash our hands. Because believe me, for victims of missing person families, they need other social needs, other economic needs, recognition, continuous life support is necessary for them because their breadwinner is gone. And for that end, we are working with the UN Resident Coordinator's Office in order to come up with a far better social package for them on top of the money. But these particular people who are saying, out of 1,000 they didn't pay anything, are simply saying, pay us 200,000. There's no provision in law, neither do I know how much each person got, except for their word of mouth, for which I cannot use the treasury's money. But I do understand the problem. They need the money, and we are collecting the information. Secondly, when it's a missing person, whether it's the north or the south, it's a crime. And to that end, we feel for all the families, whether it's the south or the north. We don't make a differentiation about the victims and their race or geographical connection. So therefore, to that end, we are working tirelessly to come up with the best package. Why? Our president was elected. We were elected with the votes from the north, south, east, and west. Therefore, they trust us. So therefore, when we are trying to help people, it's always according to law and never, ever according to based on race. So, Mr. Rasawanikam, thank you so much, Honourable MP, for raising that question. So I was able to clarify. With regard to the appointments to the Constitutional Council, of course, I will leave it in the hands of the Honourable Prime Minister. Thank you.
Honourable Sunil Handunetti, Minister of Industries and Entrepreneurship Development. I think we have given a lot of time for your question.
මැනික්කා ස්වර්ණාභරණ අධිකාරියට දාලව ප්‍රශ්නෙට පිළිතුරු 2025 කාලය තුල ආනයනය
let the honourable minister finish. I'll give you a minute.
කිලෝග්‍රෑම් 45000ක්.
Honourable Minister Harshan Nanakar, are you willing to take that? Yeah, let me find out clarify from the minister. He seems to be in a hurry.
ගරු කතාන ගරු නියෝජ්‍ය කතාන අද ශෝක වගාස දිනේ දවසේ නාටීම් ගොඩක් ඇවිල්ලා ඉන්නවා.
Yeah, Honourable Jasamani, just take a few seconds only because we have very short
Honourable
time
Minister,
today.
This entire matter now, you said about the north and the south. The Tamil people have rejected the OR. So I am speaking on behalf of the mothers of the Sinhala mothers from the south. Now this particular one, even though you say that you all can't pay it, when Madam Chandrika Bandaranaike was the president, there was an arrangement to pay 15,000, 25,000, 50,000. Out of which, Honourable Minister, at the time there was an agreement to pay up to 200. So all I'm saying is, be fair by those mothers without saying it's unfair. That's all.
Look here. All agreements, sir, has to be according to law. And all payments were done after Of course, the rates were increased, but only after the investigation was done and recommended by the OMP. So right now, I have got cabinet approval for 375 million rupees to appoint 75 people to start investigations. They will get their 200,000. So whatever the information you have is not correct, Ms. Rasamanikam.